Changing the setup today because I really love how this setup works. Like, I love just all the lights and everything like that, so I'm gonna roll with it. The world of smartphones has absolutely changed how we see music. Like, literally going to the point to where music has become a main staple in our pocket, and basically including everything. But to think that almost 2 decades ago, basically a little device in our pockets basically held all of our music. The good old classic iPod. And I'm gonna finally go as far, after 3 years, explaining why I use an iPod in 2024. Let's do it.
Ever since I was a kid, I've been a
Yes, I do own a iPod in 2025. I absolutely love this little guy. Like, I love the idea of being able to have just something like cover flow and all that, but people would probably ask, why would I use a device that's strictly used for music when I could just use something like a smartphone that could totally hold my music, every bit of music, if I wanted to? Well, yes, I do use an iPhone 12, which unfortunately is my flash, but there's something about having a device that could be stricken down just for music that I really love. I absolutely love the lack of distractions, which that's a big reason for everybody, but the idea of being able to have just music on a device that doesn't get anything else, no notifications for any social media platforms, this is great. The second reason, which comes down to kind of in the same area, just strictly music. There's something about shuffling an entire music library and not even knowing entirely what you could get at all. Like, you could see that it just went to Bouquet, and then now 92, and then Lady Annabelle. It's like there's so much more. And I will tell you that this is not just going with a few hundred songs, take note. 128 gigs with over 8,000 songs. Almost 9,000 songs in my pocket. It's not just strictly audio, but I also got a few music videos on here, which are including like Charlie Puth, and I even have a little bit of Childish Gambino in there. Also, I got some Eminem in here, which I don't know which ones this is gonna choose. Of course, it's gonna choose Doomsday 2. Having this in your pocket with like music videos and just music in general, it even can go up to WAVs if you really wanted to. Although, if you wanted to go with FLAC, then you have to go with another piece of software. Although there's just something about just having the original iPod OS. I love just being able to have just music in your pocket, but then also have a few videos, maybe music videos. But wait a smack, you could also have TV shows and movies on there if you really wanted to do it. But also, the third reason for me is I love old devices. I love the idea of being able to have an old device in my pocket. Like, I love old devices. Like, I will say that when I got this Samsung Galaxy S5, which is like from 2014, I absolutely love the entire idea of this. Even though this guy is more of a regular for me, it's like, I don't mind it at all. Like, I love being able to have this guy in my pocket. I also made it so it actually has a thicker back on it, which is a blue backplate. You can't really tell from the lighting, but this is a thicker backplate because this has 128 gigs on an SD card, which isn't really the main reason why it's thicker. It's the battery which I compacted it with, which is a 3,000 milliamp hour cell, which actually lasts for weeks without having to charge it. You could get away with using this for weeks on end, hours on end, without having to charge this thing, maybe. Depends on how long you're using it though. 128 gigs is the limit for this guy. It's a 6th gen, so unfortunately 128 gigs is the limiting factor. But if you were to go up to a 7th gen, you could go up to 2 terabytes. 128 gigs is good for me. But also, like, it's also another thing too where, like, I love being able to just the idea of the music in my pocket and everything like that. But then also the fourth reason, which is it's my music, I get to have it, and there's something about having just being able to turn on some music where it's just like you get to enjoy it with no issues. And mark my words, ironically enough, these are gonna be running longer than Spotify will probably, most likely. Oh, it already has. Yeah, since these came out in 2001. There's something about having a device in your pocket that's just strictly yours. That's so much nicer. You go and buy CDs, you rip them, you either buy music from iTunes or you get WAVs, you get whatever. it's your music. You don't have to worry about it, which I have a music library of over 8,000 songs. So like this is all coming from CDs and iTunes purchases. It's a lot of music than you think about. It's like, oh yeah, Spotify has a million songs, unlimited music. It's like, well, if you compare that to an iPod and somebody else's music library, Spotify really doesn't compare. Who doesn't want to have a music library of their own stuff? Something that they can enjoy and literally just go as far to say, oh, I'm gonna rate this 5 stars, or 4 stars. I was hoping it was gonna go 5 stars, but it's something about just having something of your own, the entire music library. So much, like the personal touch of having music in your pocket that's literally yours and no one else's to take. It's enjoyable. It's my feeling of enjoyment to know that I can actually enjoy music. And I gotta say that I've been using this guy, actually multiple iPods over these past couple of years, and literally racked up like songs that have literally gone higher, and multiple playlists that are literally playlists of stuff which I genuinely enjoyed, stuff which I can put on repeat, and there's so much more. Like you get to learn a more personalized music experience from an iPod more than Spotify probably can. But that's just my opinion. It's kind of the same feeling of what I had with like the Sony Walkman days, like the idea of being able to have a Sony Walkman and just having like cassettes and being able to throw a cassette into a Walkman. Because I had a Sony Sports Walkman at one point and I still do have mine. But the idea of having cassettes, which unfortunately I have this Journey tape, which is unfortunately not in great condition. Something about putting a tape in and then pressing play and listening to the tape, even if it's your own Ferric 1 mixtapes, there's something about that personal touch which is more important than just a Spotify playlist. Like, I do genuinely enjoy this. Like, I enjoy the idea of cassettes and just even iPods. I think there's just something about having a device, to me, where it's like the music is more personalized than just, oh, somebody's, oh, just a Spotify playlist. But like, it's just, to me, I love these devices. I love the device of being able to have something in your pocket. And they sound great too, if you were to actually put the right headphones in. Like normally these have like a certain DAC with them, but I think this has a Wolfison DAC. I love these. I love the iPod so much. And I mean, another device which I would absolutely use if I had the, I do have one, but I don't want to take it apart. I'm probably going to get another one to see if I can get this to work. I love Zunes too, but something about the iPods to me that, like with iTunes and that stuff, I don't want to go through the Microsoft store and that stuff, or Microsoft Zune software. iTunes is pretty easy to go through, and again, I've already integrated myself so much into the iPods that I don't even think it's even worth trying to even transfer myself fully over to the Zunes. But I guess that's it. I mean, I love iPods. Like, I love them. I've always loved them. I've always been curious about them, and finally getting my hands on some and actually using them, they're stuff which I just can't get my hands off of. Just the music personalization and just having the old devices and being able to have something which can hold my music, and I don't have to have, this is probably one of those devices which I can't have without in my day-to-day life. But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. Bye.